Hello beer tubers and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of Hoppets. Today, checking out some Franconian Maibock by one of the best breweries of Franconia, Mönchsambacher, or Brauerei Zehendner, that makes the Mönchsambacher lager beers. Based in Mönchsambach in Germany, in Franconia. So they make some of the best lagers around. I think it's one of the biggest bucket list places to go when you're in Franconia. Just go there and drink Stefan's beer and have some food and whatnot. It's worth the drive. So I was lucky enough to get these two bottles today of the Maibock. Oh, not today, but not too long ago. And the Maibock is, for a lot of people, one of the best Mönchsambacher beers. I know it's one of the ones that are more highly acclaimed. It's also one of the more hoppy ones. And this is just going to be so fun because we already did a comparison of the Weihnachtsbock in a vintage format and a fresh format. We're going to be doing the same with the Maibock here. So we got a fresh bottle from this year, 6.5% Maibock. And then we got a bottle from, I think it means 16-17 season, so probably brewed in 16. This is an 8-year-old bottle of it. And this one, the fresh one, I got with the help of Jason in Hamburg, so thanks a ton, Jason. I actually bought this on a web shop called Bier aus Franken, and Jason helped me get it because they do not ship to Denmark, so they could ship to him. So thanks a ton, my friend. And the other one was a gift from Enzo, who was also doing the same, helping me get beer from that web shop just further back. But he sent some vintage bottles from his own personal stash, and this was one of them. But let's drink the Maibock. I'm so stoked to revisit this one. I think I gave it 93 in the past, and it's just a fantastic beer. So let's check it out. Pours a lightly hazy, bright golden yellow color with a nice touch of a rust orange hue to it. It looks more rust orange in camera, but it has more of a bright golden hue in real life, but with that nice, lingering, lasting copperish tone, especially on the sides of the glass. And then it's got a white head. Let's check out the aromatics on this one. Oh, that smells banging. Really layered, rich malt character, but you can definitely smell that there's hops in this. So originally it was, as far as I remember, it was quite floral, but also like quite peppery and even woody. And it follows that a lot on the nose. I talk a lot about, I think in the original review, also like esters on it. Like there's these delicate kind of fruity notes from yeast. And I'm not getting too much of that right now. I'm mainly getting like really nice, intense, rustic nuances of the malt profile due to their decoction mass schedule. Like this really rustic breadiness. Again, the countryside loaf type breadiness, but definitely more hoppy, I feel like. And especially compared to some of their other beers, it has like this really nice, light floral tone. There's a little bit of a sweetness. Maybe that's like the stewed fruitiness I'm picking up on now, like a stewed pear or something like that. And they're also like, you can get like something called Maltbolcher in Denmark, which is like, I think it's made from malt extract or something. It's like these hard candies. And there's a little bit of that. Like it's like kind of like a granddad candy. But there's a little bit of that. I'm getting more of the floral now. And it has that vibrancy I fucking want to dictate about these beers. Like this, like you can smell this is a fresh beer. It's not like it's only been spending a couple months in this bottle. So it has like still a lot of vibrancy to it. It's probably even more if it was fresher. But this has been in my fridge ever since I got it. And only like a couple weeks, I guess, in the box because it was standing for a bit and then before being shipped and whatnot. But not too long, but it smells just really vibrant and nice. But let's try and jump over to the aged version just to see the difference. What I'm really impressed by here is the fact that the color is actually not that different. They're almost the same. So I'm guessing this one has been stored cold just by the looks of it. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to see a difference. The biggest giveaway that it was different vintages was the fact that the head on this pouring out was a bit more bubbly. And I think it's also more hazy, and it just has a light bit more of that rust orange type hue. But let's check out the aroma on the aged one. Oh, you smell that immediately. The Maltbolcher thing is massive. It's dialed to 11. It's really, really, really malty. It's just got so much maltiness. But there's definitely also the smell of oxygen being apparent in the bottle. Oxidation. There is like slightly sherry and papery notes. It's nowhere near as vibrant. It smells nowhere near as good, to be frank. But it also does not smell like terrible, which I think is the same experience I had with the previous vintage bottle. But let's drink some fresh Mönchsambacher Maibock and see how it is. Cheers. Thanks a ton to both Enzo and Jason. Oh, that is such a great beer. That is such a case study in like how to layer flavors in lagers. And it's so vibrant, although you can feel it's a hefty beer because it's a Bock as well. Like it's got so much rich, decadent breadiness to it. Like this really rich, like almost like, not buttered because it doesn't have a buttery flavor, but almost like if you smeared a thick layer of butter on like a very rustic bread, country loaf or something, so it felt really decadent. You take a bite and it's just like exploding with decadence because it almost feels like a bit fat in the mouth. That's kind of like what you're getting. It's not like it tastes like butter at all. It just had like that fatty richness. And then really, really well layered flavor profile. Really nice bitterness too. Fairly high for like Franconian beers. I think, again, it varies so much from brewery to brewery with the bitterness there. But like the general consensus for most people is that Franconian beers are a little bit more balanced in bitterness. But then you have a few players where the beers are a bit more bitter and dry. This has some bitterness and some snap to it that really makes it refreshing and balances out that rich maltiness. And it's like this really nice, bitter, woody, spicy bite that's sitting in my throat right now. And up front, you're definitely getting a bit of that floral, grassy flavor as well. Also, so much black pepper to this. Like, loads. I wonder if it's Perle in this one as well, because I know Perle is in their Weihnachtsbock. And I can't remember the lagering times, but they lager these for a decent amount of time. It's a really good Maibock. I think this might be one of the best Maibocks you can get. It nails richness and it nails hoppiness of Maibock, because the Hellerbocks or Maibocks are often more hoppy. And because it's so hoppy and bitter as well, it really helps cut it so it's like it's not cloying because of all the rich malt. It's just such a banging beer. But let's try and move on to the vintage one. Ooh, that's a different beer altogether. It's almost tasting barley wine-esque. Surprisingly still bitter though. And still plenty of CO2. Oh, the second sip there, I got a lot of this like candied malt candies or something like that. Like heavy malt candies with like that drying bitter finish. 80s one is much better than I expected. The condition is still quite all right. You get the oxidative notes, but it just feels really heavy on the malt backbone and much more rich and like almost like a little bit. Actually, not a blonde barley wine. A little bit like the pale Samichlaus. It's a similar flavor profile, almost, or something like that. But it's not as drinkable. It's not as refreshing. It's not as vibrant, and it's not as singy. And it's a completely different story. And I know a lot of people, they really speak so highly of this beer as one of the best from Mönchsambach. But I still think I prefer the lager beer and the export. I still think those are the best. My favorite. They are like 95s all day, world-class beers. Maybe even 96, maybe even a 98, maybe even 100 at the brewery. I don't know. You know, they're just fucking, if you sit there at the brewery and you drink them really fresh, it's just like, oh man, I don't need to leave this place. I could live in this city and just have a beer. It's almost like a bit like a desert island type beer. Almost. Maybe not as much for me personally. It's close. I need to drink it more times fresh, I think, and experience it more, because that was how it started with the unfiltered Helles by Stenkana. That was not a desert island beer in the beginning, but it certainly is now, and I have one bottle left. I need to drink it soon while it's still freaking fresh. And I think I just like those a bit more because they're not as big, hefty beers. Like this is a big beer, it's a rich beer, but it's also a very nice beer. But it's like the drinkability and everything that I love about lagers is still here. So it's still a refreshing beer to drink, and it's awesome to sit and sip on. But I'm just not as like about it as I am with like when I have a fresh bottle of lager beer or export. But it's just like, it's still probably one of the better Maibocks you can get. So in terms of a grade, I think I'm going to stick to the original grade. I give this, maybe bump it a little bit up to a 94. I was stupid enough to sit on this for a little bit, not like too long. It's still really fresh and awesome, but I would really like to try and drink this at the source and see how it is. Also see how it is from an Anstich, from the barrel that's just been tapped, because there's something magic about that. Especially when like sitting there and drinking the beers that were even better than drinking them at home. The aged one, I don't think I'm going to grade it. I mean, it's more of an experiment than anything really. It's fun to try, but it's just like, it's all right. Like, you can taste its age. I think it's held up better than I expected, but like this is still the crown jewel compared to these, the aged one. Do yourself a favor. We'll do that as well. But do yourself a favor, book a trip to Franconia. Go to Bamberg, travel around, drink stuff like this at the breweries. It's one of the best experiences in the world if you love lagers. So if you guys had a chance to try Mönchsambacher's Maibock from 2024, let me know what you thought of it. And also if you had the 2016 vintage, let me know what you thought of that. And as always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And thanks a ton to Jason and Enzo for the beers and helping me get the beers. And I want to say cheers and see you guys in the beer review.